Hey everybody, it's Wednesday and it's Drew. Now, I know you take a lot of things I say, I'm mocking people with the masks and the gloves and everything. What I'm doing now is more of a PSA. I personally don't get into all this stuff, but if you're gonna wear gloves and wear a mask, there's some things you need to know. I see a lot of things going on in supermarkets, especially, and I don't know if it's misinformation. People don't realize certain things you gotta know about wearing them gloves and a mask if you really want to protect yourself. I was a paramedic for 25 years in New York City. I was part of a hazmat team. I did decon. I did all this stuff. What I see out there isn't protecting you. First of all, I know there's controversy over these masks. These are surgical masks, not the N95s. N95s are fitted masks. You probably heard it from a bunch of people. This is just a surgical mask. Surgeons wear these during surgeries not to protect themselves from germs and disease. It's to protect their breath and anything that comes out of them from infecting the patient that they're working on. That's what this is meant for. So if you're going to wear this, this is better suited that if you think you might be infected, you might have the virus, and you want to protect somebody else from getting it, from your breath getting on them, these masks are fine. But to protect you from breathing in any, it really isn't. They're not fitted. All right? There's a lot of gaps. I can breathe in and out, and you can feel it seeping in the air. So it's not protection from anybody else breathing on you, so to speak. And because of that, it gives you people a false sense of security. Now, I said when I go to the supermarket, one of the issues I see, people wearing gloves and a mask. It's great, you have the gloves on. So if you're touching money, you're touching the shopping cart itself, right? You're pushing it along. You're touching goods that were stocked out by somebody who potentially is contaminated and they're stocking out your groceries. This is the problem I see. So you're touching all these items, and then you're fidgeting with your mask. All right, you touch it, you're adjusting it. So when you're adjusting it, you're touching your face, you're touching up by your eyes. It's the mucous membranes, your eyes, your nose. That's where you're going to get it. But they say it's a respiratory, it's transmitted by respiratory system. So when you touch your face, and it's by your nose, and you get those germs by your nose, constantly adjusting your masks. It's putting those potentially contaminated hands in contact with your face where you're breathing. So it does no good. The other thing, I see people with this. Yeah, it gets hot when you wear a mask like this, especially for a long time. So what do people do? They adjust it. They tell, oh, it's just for a second. They take it down. You're breathing in, okay? So between that, touching everything, readjusting the mask, that's an issue. You'll probably be making yourself more susceptible to contamination that way. The other problem I see often, people will be touching all these items with their gloves, right? They got protection. They don't realize that if they're contaminated on the glove, anything else they touch can possibly get contaminated. So they'll reach for, say, their cell phone, and they start on their phone, and they're touching the phone, and then they put it to their face. Now, everything you just touched, potentially contaminated, you just put on your phone, and now you just put it to your face. Oh, that's great too. You know, some people forget and they go and they grab their car keys. No. No. You're putting yourself more at risk that way. All right? I'm trying to help you out here. If you're going to wear this, it frustrates me. And I understand. People weren't in the field like I was and like other medical professionals. So they don't understand. Some of it's common sense, that's why it frustrates me. But if you're wearing a mask, don't keep adjusting it. I mean, this thing comes down easy enough, and it's not fitted. All right, that's one thing. Take that thing off because I personally believe it's useless unless you're sick and you don't want to. But if you're sick and you're out, you shouldn't be out. If you're sick, you should be home, quarantined, away from everybody else, so you wouldn't have to wear a mask like that. The other thing, taking gloves off. Please, please, throw them in the trash. You know, don't throw them in the parking lot. It's like, oh, you're afraid because you don't want to touch the door handle maybe, or whatever it is. there's a right and wrong way to take these off. Don't just grab them off and then be touching them with your bare hand. Alright, so what you're going to do, you take your glove, very simple. Alright, you pinch it here, but you're not touching your skin. Bring it down, inside out. Now use the inside out part, grab this part here, do the same, and you fold them into each other. You now have one glove inside out, the potentially contaminated part is on the inside. Then just put it in the garbage. Alright, not controversial at all today. Just a little PSA type thing. There's plenty of them out there. That's a simple one, because this is something I see every day. When you're just out and about, if you're going to the store, whatever it is. And it drives me crazy. If you're going to bother using them, please use them properly. Otherwise, don't use them at all. I personally, I wash my hands. I keep my distance. I don't wear a mask like that. I don't wear gloves. You know, you can wipe down usually supermarkets, they have a little wipe when you come in. You can wipe the handle down. That's good. When you're done shopping, maybe go to the restroom before you even leave and wash your hands. You might want to keep wipes in your car or on your person so you can wipe down your door handle. You can wipe down your steering wheel, all that kind of stuff, right? So, I'm not busting chops this week. Trying to be a little informative. Some things that drive me crazy. Again, I have my own opinion on all this, but if you're going to do the mask and glove thing, just please do it right. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday.